strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes and dreams and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Oh, come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business. Get into your business, that's right, get into your business. Oh, we'll get into your business.
Welcome to the Small Business Miracles Podcast. My name is Jeff Randolph. This Small Business Podcast is brought to you by EAG Advertising and Marketing. We are here to talk about marketing. We're here to talk to entrepreneurs. Theo.
Yeah.
I know you were out and you were hanging out at a nonprofit Connect event.
Yeah.
Connects.
Uh-huh.
And you were doing exactly what that group is supposed to do,
Right.
and network and have conversations.
Yeah.
And you met somebody.
I sure did.
And you said, the people need to know this story.
We have to talk about
this.
to.
Let's bring in a guest, shall we?
Let's do that.
We're joined here by Jenna Gertis, Outreach Director and Development Coordinator for Angel Flight Central. Jenna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And it was so nice to meet Theo and make some connections at a Connects event. Exactly
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do.
Had a great time.
That is it, and we love supporting Nonprofit Connect. That's, I spent my day yesterday there doing the Mission Marketing Institute.
I love that.
It was 8 hours of people having to listen to me, and that's more than humans should have to be subjected to. So not a great time for them. But I hope that they took away some kind of nugget of marketing wisdom to go from there. Let's talk about Angel Flight Central. When you are describing what you do, who you are, to somebody, like just as a overview, the 30,000 foot or whatever altitude you are legally allowed to fly to, how do you describe that?
Sure. So we are a small nonprofit headquartered at the downtown Kansas City airport. Mm-hmm. And our mission is focused on getting children, adults, and everybody in between to faraway medical appointments. Mm-hmm. And we do that through the use of over 350 volunteer pilots who donate their time, their aircraft, and all the fuel to make sure that every single flight is totally free, no matter how many times people need to travel.
Wow. And you are headquartered at the downtown Kansas City airport, but you're in like 10 states or something? You've been to 10 states to drop people off? How does that work?
Sure. Yeah. So our headquarters is here in Kansas City, and that is really kind of where our journey started, very grassroots, beginning in Kansas City. And this is always going to kind of be home base. But there are other Angel Flight and other volunteer pilot organizations throughout the entire United States. And many years ago, as you can imagine, it's a logistical nightmare planning all the coordinating of travel for people. And we got together as a group and thought, we really need to break up the United States, and let's start with where people are originating from. Uh-huh. And we came out of that with 10 Midwest states. So Missouri and Kansas up through the Dakotas, all the way over through Indiana. So we really start with where people are living. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily care where they're going to, because we're going to share passengers and pilots with other agencies to get people all the way to where they need to be.
Yeah, and you started out like give me the origin story of where that was, because it's you got it published on the website. I read through it and I'm like, yeah, this is a good time.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things, because I think all great organizations start out from like a small need, right? Mm-hmm. That you realize becomes much larger. And for us, that's exactly what happened. So one of our founders, his name is Jim Stevens. Mm-hmm. He still lives in Kansas City, him and his wife. He's in Overland Park currently. And he was a cancer survivor himself, and he had done really well in business and decided to retire early. And he had always wanted to fly and learn how to fly. And so he learned how to do that and became a pilot, bought his own aircraft, and had a big passion for that, but was really just kind of burning holes in the sky for years. And his wife was a pastor at a local church in the Waldo area. Mm-hmm. And there was a family there who had a young son who needed a heart transplant, but they didn't have insurance. And amazing thing happened to them was there was a surgeon at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia who agreed to perform the surgery pro bono.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But with transplants, there's not just getting there one time. There's a ton that goes into that pre and post-op and getting things ready. And then, of course, the actual transplant surgery appointment. And so Jim thought, and the kiddo was kind of weak. Like, that's a long car ride for the family and for the child. And so Jim thought, well, I can use my plane. I have a plane and I'm not doing anything. So I'm going to provide for the family in this way. And the kiddo got his heart transplant, and Jim came back from that experience really changed. He felt like he got way more out of it than maybe the family did.
Right.
You know, of course, they were incredibly grateful, and that totally changed their life. But Jim walked away from that feeling a ton of meaning and a ton of purpose. And he thought, there's got to be more people that can be helped. And like I had said earlier, there were other volunteer pilot organizations throughout the country who were doing similar missions, helping get people to medical care. But there was nothing here in the Midwest or Kansas City. And so who are pilots friends with? Typically other pilots.
Yeah, sure. Because you've got to have somebody to talk to that about. Yeah.
Yeah, and they love to talk about that. You got like your fishing guys, you know, who only hang out with other fishermen, and pilots only hang out with other pilots, I think is the rule. So he got a small group together of men and women, and they decided, wouldn't it be really cool if we could do like one flight a month for the first year? Like their goal was to complete 12 flights the first year, just for people in need, very grassroots. There was no form you fill out. There was no nonprofit status. It was just like, find people in your community who need our help. And that first month, they completed 12 flights.
Oh, outstanding. Yeah.
And they realized that the need was much greater and that the pilot pool of people who wanted to assist in this way was also great. And so since that time, that was 31 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Since that time, we've grown and we continue to grow. So just now we do anywhere from 8 to 12 flights a day.
Oh, that's insane. That is what a tremendous help, though, because like I saw numbers, 53,000 plus free flights and 17 million miles that are flown. That's significant impact.
Yes.
I can also imagine the conversation that was happening for that first flight where, you know, a pilot friend is saying, oh, yeah, no, I flew over my kid's soccer practice field in the morning. And they're like, oh, yeah, I helped someone get a heart transplant. But, you know, nice that you flew over the practice field. That's fun.
Yeah.
Good peer pressure.
Exactly.
For that.
So there's something in the pilot community called a $100 hamburger. So for pilots to remain current, especially for incredibly, qualified, credentialed pilots, they have to have so many takeoffs and landings per month.
Yes.
And so they would spend $100 in fuel to fly to some small airport and get a hamburger. And now it's probably like the $500 hamburger. But
yes.
That was what they needed to do to remain credentialed and keep all of their, licenses up to date. Well, you could do that, or like you said, you could take a kiddo to go get their heart transplant, and what would be a little bit more meaningful?
Certainly that, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was a hobby pilot. His dad taught him to fly. His dad taught him to fly.
Wow.
And I have definitely experienced the $100 hamburger in my lifetime. And then I, of course, tried to break that tradition by saying, I don't love heights. I will end this lineage of flight right here with me. So.
That's so funny because it feels like it has to be in your family for you to get into it. Like if you ask any pilot ever, it's somebody
There's
in there.
Someone in there who taught you how to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or introduced you to the world of aviation because for most people like me, my dad's a plumber, so that was the totally different side of things. But it's like if you don't have somebody to introduce you to that access into that world seems very far away.
Yeah. Like people don't just do that. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. My youngest brother did get his pilot's license, so there is still that
somebody's carrying it on. Yeah,
I am not doing that, though.
I did not become a plumber. Obviously,
you could.
Did my brother?
It's all still available to you.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you mentioned earlier the logistical nightmare that can be. So everything that the pilots are doing, they're donating their time, they're donating their skill, they're donating the fuel to get back and forth. But you take care of logistics, and that is a logistical nightmare. So I know that there are other funds that are needed as well. You do take donations from people for this. You have an event that you do. The wine flight, is that you want to talk about the wine flight?
Yes. So Wine Flight will now be going on, I don't know, maybe 20 years that this event was started. And actually, one of our founders, Tom Holcomb, who's probably a name in the nonprofit world that a lot of people will recognize, he helped start Angel Flight Central as well, along with Jim Stevens. And his son was really engrossed in the wine world and was working with Doug Frost, who is I don't know if you know
Doug
who he is.
Frost. Oh, sommelier and,
We do.
and television personality, Doug Frost. Yeah.
And he's one of like 4 people in the world that holds Master of Wine and Master Sommelier at the same time.
Yeah.
So he's obviously really revered just in the wine world, but also in Kansas City.
Yeah,
Yes. And so he was doing an event, Doug was, with one of our founders' son, and it used to be called the Jefferson Cup, and he actually stopped doing that, but it was a Midwest wine invitational competition. So wineries from around the country wanted to showcase that America had good wines too. And at the end of that, they would just taste the wine, right? Then you have almost these full bottles of wine that were essentially going to waste.
A
And so-
crime.
I know, a true crime. So the founder's son said, well, we should create an event around this. Like, so the competition would be held on a Thursday evening, and our organization and a ton of volunteers would go there Thursday night after the competition, load up all these barely drank bottles of wine, drive them to an event space, open it up to ticket holders and people who were interested in supporting us. And then Doug and his team of judges who were our accomplished sommeliers would provide the tasting to the guests.
Oh, man. I love it when a plan comes together. This
Yeah.
is just, it works out so well.
I think our organization has always been like, do what you can with what you have. And so we have pilots and we provide flights. We had wine. So now that's our event.
Wine flight. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've been with Angel Flight Central a little over 4 years. And, like every event or organization, it had its ups and downs. And post-COVID, it's like, do you continue doing these large gala
Oh, right. Yes.
events?
Yeah.
And so when I started, we had about 250 attendees, and we raised about $250,000, which is an incredible amount of money. Helps our organization a ton. Last year, we had over 850 attendees. We raised over $650,000. It is now for sure our premier fundraising event. We raised about 70% of our operating budget on one night.
Oh, man.
Which we only have 5 people who work at Angel Flight Central. I do development and outreach, which are 2 different things.
Right. Yes. Yes. Those are 2 jobs.
So then it kind of frees me up the rest of the time to go out and do cool stuff like this, where I get to spend a majority of my time spreading the word about what we're doing instead of running around chasing.
Individual donations.
Yeah,
for,
exactly. Which we're incredibly blessed to have so many people who regularly support us. But it does help because our resource is not finite. It's not like we can provide 10 flights and then say, oh, I'm sorry, we're all out.
Yeah.
Like our pilots, because of their generosity, we can continue to serve more people and we can continue to grow.
Oh.
So it's just kind of a unique spot to be in as a nonprofit to say, I could actually help more people.
Yeah, there are a lot of events that support a lot of nonprofits, but Wine Flight sounds like a pretty good time. When does this happen, and are there spots left? I mean,
we haven't even opened up ticket sales yet, because that also falls under what I do.
I got another hat to wear back at the office.
So stay tuned. We usually do that after Labor Day, just because that's when people start looking at their fall schedules. But it's November 21st.
Okay.
So it's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And we're going to be at the Sheraton in downtown Kansas City again. Last year, we ended up having almost 800 varieties of wine. So for people to taste on one night. I wouldn't recommend doing that many, maybe, but
It's a lot, but as I count the number of people you mentioned,
Yes.
that your odds are pretty good that you're going to find something you enjoy. I mean,
exactly. And Doug Frost and his team of judges and local wineries and vineyards, people who own and operate those, come and volunteer their time and provide the tasting to the guests. So you really can't get more expertise and more wine variety in one event.
Oh, it sounds like a whole lot of fun. What is the biggest need that you have as an organization? Is it those individual donations so that you can, logistically plan more flights? Is it pilots? Is it, where do you need help?
Yeah, I will say all of those things.
All of those
but
things
if I
would help.
were to make one ask, it's really just spreading awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're the type of service that you don't know you need until you need it.
Right.
There's so many people who today their lives will be changed with a diagnosis. And if they didn't already know about us or hear about us or have a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, a nurse tell them, I don't know how many phone calls I have where they're like, man, I've been paying out of pocket to get to my clinical trial.
Yeah.
8 times now I've bought commercial tickets and risked my immune system, and we could have helped them every single time.
Well, happy to help spread awareness for such a great cause. What is next for Angel Flight Central? Where do you go from here? Is it more flights, more everything?
More flights for sure. So we are on trajectory to fly more flights than we ever have.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're on pace to hit over 3,000 flights this year.
Wow.
Which just last year we were at like 2,600. So we're certainly growing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I would just want people to know that it's free and it's for you. So we don't currently take any government or federal or state dollars. It's all individually funded events and corporate sponsors. And my background is in social work. That's what I have my master's in. And I've done a little bit of everything in that space. And one of my favorite parts of working for here is our, intake process. We just want to know that you have a reason to travel medically. Like, give us a few sentences about why a free flight would benefit you. You don't have to be under a certain income level. We don't ask race. We don't ask religion. The most invasive question we ask is your weight.
Which is important in a small aircraft.
Yes.
No, that's appropriate. Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm like, I actually need to know the real answer to this, not what's on your driver's license.
That's right.
So I think that when people are dealing with a diagnosis, there's so much that goes into it between doctor's appointments and insurance and missing work and, the grief that comes along with so much of that stuff that we realize we are just a small piece to that puzzle and we try not to overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
So the bureaucracy is taken out of it as much as possible.
No, such a great cause, great organization. Happy to learn about that. Happy to spread the word. And I now have a lightning round. If you're ready for a lightning round, are you ready for the lightning round?
I think so.
I've got some questions for you. And let's start with back to the top of the round with Theo. You volunteer for Nonprofit Connects Group as it's a group of volunteer leaders that promote recruitment, development, and retention of emerging professionals in the nonprofit sector. My question is, what is it about Connects that drives you to volunteer? Because you've got some other stuff going on. You've got other hats you wear. What is it that makes that organization, worthy of volunteering?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit. So as like a social worker, I was always doing direct client care. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even have a LinkedIn before this job, because I didn't really see a need for that. Yeah. I'm like, who am I going to connect with on there? Mm-hmm. And so when I got this position, I felt a little out of my depth, and I'm also not native to Kansas City.
Okay.
So I feel like when you come in to this, it seems like everybody already knows everybody. Yeah. Or I didn't have that 10 years of networking that I had built up. And so for me, it was when I actually got this job through an MP Connect job posting.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
I saw it on there and I thought, well, if I'm a social worker in Kansas City and I don't know about this organization,
Yeah.
that probably means a lot of people don't. Maybe I could do something there. And then going to so many events, getting education and networking through there, I realized how important that was. And even just stuff like this, it's like how cool that I met you at an event and now more people are going to know about what Angel Flight Central does. So I started to see the value of that, and I wanted to help be a part of it.
Yeah, outstanding. And you had to go from 0 connections on LinkedIn to, many in a heartbeat. So
I
that's
just
well
remember
done.
seeing, I'm like, 500 people, they don't know all these people.
There's no way. You can't know 500
yeah.
people at the same time.
And I'm out there like, Mom, make a LinkedIn so I can connect with you.
That's great. As you think back, did you have a teacher or a mentor who taught you a lesson that sticks with you to this day? Someone in your life?
Well, I guess I have two. I mean, one is kind of an easy shot. Brendan, our executive director, he's been with the organization for 19 years. He was in my role previously, and he's seen the organization go through ups and downs.
Literally,
And,
takeoffs and landings.
Exactly. And he's always steady. So I appreciate that with him, and he's always willing to try new things. And give me the organizational knowledge of like, yeah, we tried that back in 2005. Here's what happened. But let's maybe try that again and see if we're in a different spot or whatever. And then I also had a professor in college who basically told I wanted to go into clinical psychology. And he was like, yeah, I think that's great. But I actually set you up with a meeting with the dean of social work at Mizzou, and I'm going to drive you there because this is what you need to do.
Wow.
So like he really took
That's an active interest. Yeah.
yes,
That's really
like took so much charge in that. And for me, I was like, oh, social work seems like the people who take people's kids away. Like that was literally like my only context for like what that might be. And it totally opened up my brain to be like, wow, this could be so many things and I could do so much with this. And so he's really the reason why I've had pretty much every job since then.
That's crazy. What a great inspiring kind of teacher story though.
Yeah, Dr. Hansen, I should say his name.
Hey,
yeah.
Dr. Hansen, nicely done. Nicely done. You went to Mizzou for your master's of social work,
Yes.
right? And were you on campus for that, or was this a?
I was on campus, yeah.
My question then is all about the restaurant. If someone is in Columbia, Missouri, which restaurant would you recommend they go to?
Okay, they have to go to Campai. It's a sushi bar.
Okay.
And it is in an alley in downtown Columbia. And
There are some good things in an alley in downtown Columbia for sure. I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
I was a regular there is probably an understatement. Yeah.
Campai. All right. Good recommendation. Best movie series featuring air travel. Movie or series. Movie
I
or
mean,
series
it has to
featuring
be
air
the
travel.
Mission or Top Gun.
Oh, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I was going to say Iron Eagle, but I see where you're going.
I
with
don't
Top
even
Gun.
know that one.
It's a classic. It's a classic of American cinema.
I'll go back
It
and
is-
check it out.
It is a classic of American cinema. You really can't be hurting for stories of that your pilots have touched the lives of others. Is there a story that kind of brings you back each day, and you're like, I feel great about this.
Yeah, and I guess there's a million that run through my head, but kind of in the spirit of this podcast and the connection piece, I had went to a networking thing, and there happened to be another social worker there who wasn't really there for networking, kind of just got brought along. She was like, "Now, what do you do?" And okay, you probably wouldn't be able to help, but what do you think about this guy that I have he has cancer and he's really not doing well. And it's because I can't get him to treatment consistently. His car's not reliable. I try to line up Medicaid rides or volunteer drivers, and they're either early or late, or his appointments run over, or they're not available. And she's like, would this be something you'd consider? And I'm like, absolutely. So we began helping this gentleman from Iola, Kansas, get to KU Cancer Center. And the pilot who picked up his first flight also happens to be a physician, a retired physician. that's not usually our norm. You
Right,
know,
right.
our pilots do all kinds of things in their professional lives. And he's like, this guy's not doing well, Jenna. Like, he's telling me about his treatment. I just don't know how much longer he's, going to be able to keep this up. That was like 25 flights ago. He's currently in remission.
Oh,
It totally changed his life and his trajectory of his treatment. But I think it also brought this immense sense of like pride and joy. Like usually when you have to like ask for help, that's a hard thing to do.
yeah.
Right. This was a guy who worked his entire life. He was an on-the-road trucker. He was not used to being given anything. And that whole idea of even having to sit there and wait for a volunteer driver was hard for him. And he told, he came into our office when he was waiting for a pilot to pick him up on his way back one time. He said, I'm a rock star on the oncology unit. I'm like, oh, really? He said, yeah, I'm the only one who gets there by private pilot.
It's street cred at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
So it became like this thing that he looked forward to because it was such a unique experience. It wasn't this boring drive
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Iola, right? Like he got to have this kind of silver lining to what he was going through.
Changing lives and helping people feel really good about doing it. Yeah, outstanding. That's all the lightning round questions I have for you. That is
Okay.
what a great story to end that on. Nicely done.
Yeah.
I've asked you a bunch of questions. If you have a question for me, I'm happy to answer that question. We can about whatever you'd like to do.
Well, I honestly don't know that much about EAG marketing and then how you got involved or how this even began. The
Yeah,
podcast.
and I try not to do too much of a sales pitch kind of thing. EAG,
But I'm
serve
asking, yeah.
we serve as an outsourced marketing agency for small businesses. So we help people find ways to be better visible in today's modern search ecosystem, so that people trust them. And so the customers trust them and want to choose them again and again. And every aspect of marketing we handle for a growth-minded business. The story I'll talk about is how we started this thing. And when Theo comes to us from a 17-year career
Yeah.
in broadcasting.
Give me 18. I want every
You want
bit of
18?
that.
18. 18 years of, that's right, small children all the way up to a legal adult.
Right.
Yeah. Theo was in journalism or in the broadcast world for a very long time. We hire him for all of his great ability to communicate and network and help businesses do better in the online search world. And on one of his first weeks, Michelle Markham, our CEO, went to him and said, "Hey, Theo, I've got an idea." And I have done some podcasting before in my past,
I was
but
like, you have the voice for it.
well, I've got a face for radio, is what people say. And so Theo had done this a lot, and so she immediately talks to Theo and says, "Hey, I'd like you to produce this thing."
Yep.
And we put our first show together, and it was a wonderful opportunity to showcase all of his skills. He went to school as let's say Full Sail University, which is audio production, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Among
telling
a
all the
number
story.
of things, yeah. But audio production, yeah. Mhm.
And so he's like trained. He is absolutely trained to do this. And I record the first show, and then I edit it together. Because I had a thought in my mind about how I wanted this thing to
Sure.
go, and then I hand it to him. And it isn't until I'm handing him like hey, here's what I'm thinking, that I go, or you could have just let the guy who went to school for audio production
Do the whole
put this thing
thing, yeah.
together. You control freak. Why are you doing this? And then I gave up a lot more control to the guy who actually knows what he's doing and makes everybody sound good.
it's hard to do that.
It is. There's a car alarm that went off during the recording of this show, and no one will be able to tell that that's what happened. Right outside the window, and he's on it. I can tell you that right now.
Already
That's
know
awesome.
the time signature. I know right where to go. I'm like, I gotta get that out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. But we really wanted to tell stories like this and help give more visibility to nonprofit organizations and help tell the story of entrepreneurs. And how did that business get started, and what were the challenges and lessons learned along the way? So that is that story.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. I think it's there's unique challenges to figuring out how to market your nonprofit and to help spread the word. So all this stuff helps, that's for sure.
Happy to do it. Well, speaking of, let's have you tell everybody where they can find you if they want more information, if they need that flight somewhere, if they want to connect with you. How do they do all those things?
Sure. So angelflightcentral.org, or you can give us a call. We got the 816 area code 421-2300, and our flight requests and any information that you need to know about us, whether that's you want to donate, you want to learn more about becoming a volunteer pilot, or you do have a family member, friend, or yourself who might need a flight somewhere, that is all on our website.
All right, Jenna Gertis, Outreach Director and Development Coordinator for Angel Flight Central. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And that is our show. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Drop us a line on the website at EAGADV if you have any thoughts. Until then, we'll be out here helping entrepreneurs with another small business miracle.
All right. Talking about your strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes and dreams and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Oh, come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business. Get into your business, that's right, get into your business. Oh, we'll get into your business.